Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2025 release, The Ugly Stepsister. It's a Shudder original film, and it's currently on Shudder when I'm doing this review. Now, I usually put up my no-spoiler reviews for these Shudder original exclusive films 4 days ahead of time, but for some reason, I did not receive a screener for this one, unfortunately, so I'm putting it up day of. I feel like that's kind of good enough in this situation, especially, so my apologies. It was outside of my control. I contacted Shudder numerous times and was like, hey, where's my screener? Nothing. So, but I'm getting screeners for other things, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, let me go ahead and tell you off the bat, I am highly recommending that people check out The Ugly Stepsister unless you are particularly squeamish when it comes to body horror stuff, because there is some really intense stuff in this film. There's some really gross stuff in this film, and intense and gross stuff in the same scene. Which was impressive to me personally. But let me get into the details of this film. Again, The Ugly Stepsister, Shudder original, available May 9th on Shudder, which is the day I'm putting this out. Written and directed by Emilie Blichfeldt. This is the individual's first feature film, which blows me away, honestly, because for a first feature film, this is great. A lot of the times, I'll have first feature film for one of these that I'm reviewing, and I'm like, I didn't love the film, but for a first feature film, it's pretty good. Now, that said, this one is way past that. This is a Norwegian film, people have to know, so it is subtitled. So if you have a problem with subtitles, sorry. But if you're just one of those people who just doesn't like subtitles, I would say tough it out, because this film is worth it. So, synopsis. I don't want to say too much about it, but it is a period piece, but it's also based off of the fairy tale of Cinderella, which I'm sure pretty much everyone is familiar with. When I first heard that was kind of the synopsis of the film, I was like, that sounds terrible, a horror version of Cinderella. But I was wrong, and a lot of other people have been saying as well that this is a very good film. It is a very good film. So just think the story of Cinderella, a ugly stepsister, who wants to be so much more. There's a situation where she's a stepsister. She shows up with her new family, with her father. Her father ends up passing away very early in the film, like almost immediately. She's dealing with some stuff, but then she also wants more in her life and kind of shifts her focus to looking pretty, because there is a ball that the prince is going to be putting on, looking for his princess. So yeah, very Cinderella, and it's just about how things kind of devolve from there, because obviously it's horror, but that's all I'll say for the synopsis. The fairy tale tone of this film is struck immediately, and it is properly whimsical in its feeling. Part of that's done through, how it's shot, the way it looks, which is phenomenal. It looks very good. There are a lot of very interesting kind of artistic shots in this. Really nice framing, really nice camera movements. It's beautiful. The set design is great. That really adds to the whole fairy tale whimsical feel, plus the period piece aspect of it. And the costuming is wonderful. I think they did a great job with the costuming. And the score to this film, which I really dug the score immediately. Immediately, the score grabbed me. Like the first piece that ends up getting played in this film, it had me. And I was like, this is a great score, I can tell. And throughout, it really is. And on top of everything else I already said, that all comes together to create this really great kind of like light, but also messed up, whimsical fairy tale feel. So less Disney Cinderella, more Grimm's fairy tales Cinderella, which is what I would prefer anyway. And a lot of us watching this. Score hits perfectly right out of the gate. Like I said, they capture the time period very well with the costuming, set design, and dialogue. That's another thing I forgot to say. The dialogue is good for this time period. It definitely helps steep you in it and just kind of set you in that particular time. And you're just like, this feels realistic for what they're trying to represent here. The main character has a naive wonderment, which helps the story. Now, there is character development as well. It's a very interesting character, and they do a very good job, especially through that kind of sense of naive wonderment. And it's seen a lot in the actress's face. Like, through that really endears you to that character, which is obviously what they want to do. They want to take the main character and make you feel something for that character, make you want them to have good things happen for them, because then when potentially bad things do happen or they end up in tough situations, you feel more, you get more invested in the film. And I think they do a really good job with that. Now, that's the writing, that's how it's shot, it's the music, it's all that stuff, but it's also the performance and how they wrote that character. And again, that naive wonderment really struck me off the bat. And I think it's a combination of a smart writing choice and a great execution by the actress. So I really enjoyed that about that character. Again, shot very well. There are subtle humorous moments in this film, which I think work really well, because I think that helps keep it feel more like whimsical and fairy tale-ish throughout the film. Now, obviously, that stuff starts to die down as the film goes on, because they have to ramp up the horror. And man, do they ramp up the horror in a pretty fantastic fashion, in my opinion. So it kind of gets like worse and worse and worse and worse. And as that goes, the humor becomes less and less and less and less. So it really is this kind of full emotional experience of like feeling relatively okay and good in the beginning. And then you're starting to feel a little bit worse and worse and worse. And by the end of the film, you're not feeling that great. Actually, maybe feeling pretty terrible. There is a very intense and gross scene involving an eye. Not super early on, but kind of early on. So if people are very squeamish when it comes to eye-related stuff, I was very shocked at how unflinching it was with the way they shot this particular scene. I also was wondering if it was actually safe how they did it. I was wondering if maybe they kind of, I don't know, use CGI somehow. I don't know. It didn't look like it to me. It actually looked like it was a potentially dangerous situation that they were shooting in, but I'm going to trust that that wasn't the case and there was some sort of movie magic going on there, because it looked pretty real to me. I mean, I could see like an aspect of it, of like prosthetic aspect to it, but other than that, things that are sharp that close to the eye make you nervous. Very nervous. There's some pretty good character development. I did enjoy the character development. They're not super flat. I mean, going into something where it's just like, oh, it's based off this fairy tale you already know, you would assume that the characters aren't going to be that interesting or great, but that's actually not the case. I think they did a pretty good job fleshing out these characters, making them seem real, and having actual development, especially the main character, like really moving the needle on that main character's personality, which is a pretty significant payoff for the film. About an hour into the film, there's a pretty significant reveal that I actually did not see coming and actually really liked about this film. I know there will be people out there who do see it coming, but for whatever reason, it wasn't on my radar. I didn't see it coming, and then when it hit, I was like, oh, okay, I really like that. I love that they decided to incorporate that, because they didn't even need to do that. Like, the movie was really good on its own, and then once they did that little reveal in there, I was like, oh, okay. It just increased the enjoyment a little bit more, so that was nice. There's another intense and gross scene towards the end, and then another. Now, the intense and gross stuff can have a tendency to spike your anxiety. I have anxiety issues here and there, and I haven't been having them for a while now. I've actually been really good. But a few of these scenes really started spiking my anxiety because of how intense and messed up they are. Like, gross. So, again, if you are not good with body horror, this might be one that you might have a hard time with. Or, when you sense that one of those scenes is coming up, just do like a quick fast forward, and then you're good. That'd be my recommendation, because this is worth seeing for sure. Now, the ending is solid enough. I didn't love the ending, but I certainly did not dislike the ending. It's one of those ones where it's like, feels okay. It feels decent for an ending to this film. So in the end, this film is all about the horrors of the endless pursuit of good looks, which you can obviously kind of probably figure out even going into this film that that's going to be a part of it, because it's called The Ugly Stepsister, and it's about Cinderella, which, there's about looking better in that. And it's made apparent immediately in the film that that's what they're going after. So they pick one of these actresses for the main character where it's like, we can make her look not so attractive, but then we can make her look really attractive by the end of the film. Like every 90s dating movie ever did, like She's All That and stuff like that. Yeah. Or my favorite, which was a version of that, not another teen movie. But you know, that's another topic for another time, probably another channel, but I won't start one. Anyway, my overall rating for this film out of 5 stars, half stars, and play, very good 4-star rating for The Ugly Stepsister. This is a great film. Definitely check it out. I would also love to hear other people's opinions on it. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. Do me a favor, though, if you like this review or any video I've ever done, please, please, please subscribe to my channel to give me that free support. Thumbs up on the video helps with that YouTube algorithm. I appreciate that a lot. And then if you want to get a little more involved and throw in a few bucks per month, you can do that. I have a link in the description for my memberships for the channel. So there are 3 tiers, and you have different levels of perks, including the top tier getting actual videos that no one else will see. Only those tier members, which are a little more like relaxed vlog-ish style videos about other things, including some adult titles that I've been watching and reviewing. So you can see those there. Oh, and hit the notification bell button if you want to know when I'm putting up new videos. That's it. Thank you so much for checking this out. Please check out The Ugly Stepsister. I am a fan of this one. And until next time, keep it brutal.